Yeah, it's a performance that I suppose I've got a fair bit of admiration for the players. I think they really had to roll their sleeves up. Conditions were really tough, even early in the game when there wasn't as much drizzle. It was still wet, it was still slippery, hard to get your feet on the ground, hard to control the ball, and I think we did a pretty good job of it. Unfortunately, we let that slip a few times and fell behind on the scoreboard, but I was really impressed with the way that the players knuckled down, worked their way back into the game, got the try that we needed to give ourselves the confidence that we could continue to build and keep the pressure on, and I think that's what the players did.
Was Rock off?
His foot slipped away on him, just on the slippery surface. I've got to say that the surface was as good as you could possibly make it, but inevitably with the moisture on top, so he was a little bit uncomfortable in the adductor, and so we'll see how that is over the next probably 24, 48 hours, and if it continues to niggle away, then we'll get him scanned. But I don't think there was anything other than that.
Can you update us on any other injuries, Joe, please?
No, Brendan, I don't think there was anything else. The other guys were tactical replacements, really. Guys were pretty fatigued out there, and I think that was both sides that were pretty fatigued. There were times where it was a little bit attritional, and then suddenly it would break out into this frenzied kind of counter-attack or lateral game that had everyone gasping at times, and the ball was in play for quite long periods at times.
Rory, they had to make 50-something more tackles than you fellas did, but they didn't seem to run out of gas. Had you hoped that they would?
Look, I think we wanted to put pressure on them. We wanted to take them through the phases, and probably, I felt certainly at the end of that first half, we probably let them off a little bit. When it felt like maybe one or two more phases, obviously it's hard to know, but one or two more phases in their 22, and they might have run out of numbers. But look, we obviously, when we keep the ball and go through phases, we always hope that a team will run out of gas eventually. But I think that we could have done more to keep the ball, to ask a few more questions of them. But they're a quality side, and we knew they'd front up. We knew they would keep coming at us, and they did. And we also knew they had a lot of power coming off the bench, and that proved the way with a quarter of the game to go or so.
Joe, but is this Jonathan Sexton's return to international?
Yeah, in a measured way. I thought he was really, really positive for us. He varied the game. We varied it up a bit in the second half because we did feel that we couldn't use ourselves up too much, that we had to try to get them chasing things rather than kind of chasing us. So I thought he did it superbly. A couple of great kicks in behind him that allowed us to keep the pressure on, even though we didn't have the ball at the time. And he never shirks his defensive responsibilities anyway, Johnny. So you knew the value that he was going to give you. We'd probably aim to give him 50-55, but with the nature of the game, and he got the wind knocked out of him and had a 2.5 minute rest for a period, so we gave him a little bit longer.
Joe, what does it say about Sexton, the man who's had a month off and he's going to make another comeback from an injury, that he can have such a long time off and then come back and dominate the test match again?
Yeah, I think it's based on experience. It's certainly not the first time that Johnny's done it. He tends to come in, prepares himself incredibly well. He's got such a competitive edge that he wants to be at his best all the time, and he felt good. He felt fresh. I think for some of the other players, because you accumulate a few knocks and a bit of fatigue week to week, Johnny came in feeling pretty good, and the game was a little bit stop-start, even though there were long periods of play. It was stop-start at the scrum, for example, the resets, the bits of the game that are probably frustrating for everyone, including us, that at least probably allowed him a little bit of a breather as well.
And do you think that Conor Murray's slightly more settled at 9, having Johnny outside him?
Not unduly. I think Conor is pretty much his own man, and I think whether it's Paddy Jackson or Johnny, or as it was during November at times, Joey Carberry, I think he's very easy to play with for any of those players because he gives you time and space on the ball. I think he's a superb passer of the ball, and he takes his own responsibilities when you ask it of him. If you need a box kick or you want something slid down the touchline, like he did superbly in that last 10 minutes, where to carve off 45 metres down that touchline was superb, breathing space, and a set piece that we could structure our defence off.
And the fact that Wales lost, is that now easier or harder going down to Cardiff?
It's funny, they lost on the scoreboard, but they had 2 disallowed tries from what I saw. I haven't really had a decent look at the game, but for a lot of the game, it looked to me like they had control of it. And we can testify how dangerous Scotland are if you give them any sort of space with the finishers like Hogg and Visser and Tommy Seymour. So they'll be disappointed and determined, without doubt. And, you don't go to the Millennium Stadium or it's a bit of a name change, but you don't go to Cardiff and get anything easy, because they take a heck of a lot of pride in making sure that they deliver there, and they've got some super players who make it very difficult for opposition teams when they get there.
Joe, you suffered some significant injuries in